Now, here's your host, Paul Blair.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, the Pokes faced a monumental challenge this week, traveling to Knoxville, Tennessee to take on the 12th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. And with me this week, and of course every week, the head coach of Oklahoma State Cowboy football, Bob Simmons. And Coach, in a game like this, playing a team like this in a setting like this, 95,000 people, you have to be prepared and focused from the opening kickoff.
Well, you do, Paul, and it was a great setting. It was their homecoming, and I really thought our kids came out, was focused at first half. We wanted to go down there and really play hard all four quarters, and I really thought for the opening kickoff, we tried to be different. We elected to receive the ball this time, and we're going to start with our offense. And unfortunately, that first series, we had a couple penalties that put us in the hole. But for the most part, I thought that our defense went out and played well. And that first half, I thought we played together as a good football team.
Well, we'll be back to take a look at those first half highlights right after this break. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Great setting for college football. Beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee. Homecoming crowd, 95,000 plus strong, and just a tremendous amount of tradition. You see, they don't just come in cars to watch Volunteers play. They come in boats.
Yeah, I tell you what, they do a nice job down there on their homecoming. It was a bright, sunny day. Great day for college football, and we were really into the ball game, looking for an opportunity to play. The crowd was there, all orange, and what we wanted to try to do is keep the crowd out the ball game. That's why I really wanted to start at first half with the offense. And you see that we started here on our 5-yard line, not the greatest position to start, but we start with an off-tackle play with David. And for the most part, our offensive line is doing a real good job of coming off the ball, being very aggressive. This was a physical ball game. We lost a couple of kids in this ball game, but you can see here where we got a mental breakdown in terms of blocking assignments. And now we're in the hole, and we really asked our defense to come on the field, because we ended up giving them great field position to start the ball game with. And we really wanted to be opposite. I thought Greg Ivey kicked the ball quite well. We got to do a better job of tackling on special teams. 53-yard
punt there for Ivy, and the Vols take over in Oklahoma State territory.
Yeah, our defense really, I think, came out the first half and really established themselves. Other than this first drive, you'll see a lot of guys swarming around the football and tackling the ball and really playing controlled defense, getting off blocks, and you see Javon getting his hands up and knocking the ball down. And, I thought that the defense played with a lot of pride and a lot of enthusiasm, and it's good to see Javon just show up now and then. And I think that really carried us over for most of the ball game. Again, now, we're a gap-controlled defense, and when you're not in your gap, we'll get runs like that. But at the same time, we get a lot of penetration. Guys are swarming to the ball, and that's what makes a good defense.
I noticed Langford out there playing some real outside contain. Was there a different look that you put in for the Tennessee game?
Well, we just really played a 3-4 look where we got overhang ends most of the part and had him coming off the corner. This is their first touchdown, and I can't tell where he came down. It looked like he didn't score there. But that was the first drive. I think after that first drive, our defense really settled down for the first part of the 2 quarters and start playing. And now we go back on the offense, and David had an excellent ball game. He ran hard. He broke tackles. We felt going into this ball game that we could block him, that we could execute the run here. And the offensive line in the beginning of the ball game did a pretty decent job.
Well, David Thompson, that's his 4th 100-yard game out of 5 games this season. This was one of those games really didn't have any big breakaways. Every yard was hard fought.
Every yard was a punishing, hard-hit yard where, again, we asked our fullback to do a couple things, and we ended up losing our fullback later on in the ball game with a broken jaw. He's going to be out a couple weeks, Jeff is. But so we're going to have to find a replacement for him.
Yeah, it's tough. That fullback's got to lead the way, and Grenade has done a fine job this year. What is the status really with him?
Well, he's going to get wired. I think he's going to have an operation today, matter of fact, and get his jaw wired shut. And so we hope to get him back, or we may not get him back. I'm not sure. We'll find out tomorrow. But you can see our defense, again, is for the most part is really starting to pick it up. I thought the defensive backs, again, kept the ball inside and in front. Did a good job of tackling. You see Javon, again, making plays within the defense. We had a pretty nice defensive game plan where we really brought corners. You'll see, I think it's R.W. McQuarters who made a lot of tackles in this ball game in the backfield because we were playing zone and bringing him off the corner.
Big play right here by Lorenzo Green.
Nice tackle here and really trying to force them in a punch situation. But when you look at and find 3 and 4 guys around the football and forcing Peyton Manning, I thought that we did a nice job of really disguising our coverages and then forcing Peyton Manning to make second and third decisions, which allowed our rush time enough to get there. I tell you, their guy did a nice job of sometimes pinning us inside the 20, but here you see he didn't. We're back on offense. I think this may be the series that we really start to drive. You know, their defense is very active because they do get off blocks.
Well, Thompson once again takes a draw up the middle, and unfortunately weren't able to convert on the first down here. And once again, the third down play to Thompson, but Greg Ivy comes out and once again comes up with a real big boot, this time a 42-yarder.
I tell you, Greg did a nice job for us, and anytime you got a weapon like Greg, he really is a plus for us when he puts us in plus yardage in terms of our field position. That's what I'm trying to say. But our defense starts back out, and what we got to do is get lined up. There's a sequence where we're not lined up sometimes, but when our kids get lined up, here's Javon Langford again coming down and are ready to play, we have a chance to be a successful defense.
Well, that time Langford comes through, breaks off a blocker, and makes a tackle for a 3-yard loss. That is a real fine play by Javon Langford. Seemed to be playing freer this week, a little more comfortable coming off the injury, I guess.
Well, you know, this is the second week from that pad, and at first week he wasn't using his hand, and he started to use his hand. Here's a good job by their punter putting us inside the 4. I think this is the series where we really buckle down, and I think this is about a 95-yard drive where our offensive line really takes control of the ball game, where we use up time, but we end up really trying to go down and get a score. Our backs are running hard. This is a great run by David where they got a pretty good free safety, but he just ripped through the free safety and kept his feet.
Well, big drive offensively. You're starting out your own 2. First goal is to get that first down, or at least get one first down to get back a little bit of field position, but the offense really came through here. And once again, outstanding run there by David Thompson. This drive, they ate up over 6 minutes off the clock.
6 minutes. I thought they did an excellent job up front. Josh Henson, one of our guards, did a nice job, and this is an excellent run. This is by Andre really trying to stay on his feet and crawling and fighting, trying to get what he can. And again, coming back to David, we wanted to make this a physical game. We wanted to make sure that we attacked them running the ball. This is a 4th down call. I just thought I wanted to keep the drive going, and it was less than a half inch, and so we were just taking a chance that we were going to get that half inch.
Was a big call at your own 36-yard line. Yeah. Great surge by the offensive line there, and it did result in first down. There, a 7-yard pass play to the freshman Sean Love.
I tell you, it's good to see Sean Love really step up and make some catches. That was one of the better throws by Tony. And again, here's an exceptional run by David on a 3rd and 10 situation where we needed to keep that drive alive, and David did a nice job of executing, getting our offensive lineman downfield, and you can see him getting tattooed and tackled, but he doesn't go down. There's a tackle there with a cross-body block. There's a tackle there. He stays on his feet.
This was our offensive play of the game. Little screen out to David Thompson, 17-yard gain, then tack on the roughing the passer penalty. Gave us great field position on this drive.
Yeah, now we're in position here where I really felt that we were going to come out with some points, whether it was a touchdown or whether it's field goal. We needed to sustain this drive and make some key passes. This is a key 3rd down. Nice run by Jeff here, getting out of bounds. This is a good throw by Tony. He made a smart decision. We took what they gave us. The fullback was open on the sideline. He gets that first down. Now that drive is still alive.
Well, 1st and goal here at the 6-yard line, but a bad break for the Pokes.
Well, you know, this is a play that we run every week, and we actually wanted to run the play the other way. And we'll find out tomorrow exactly what made the quarterback go to the wrong side. But again, we still had an opportunity to try to get it in. Those are the catches that we have to make. Our offense in those types of situations, we got to come out with some points here. And ironically, this field goal is waved off, but to a man, every guy raised his hand and said it was good. So I'm not quite sure.
Well, I think that's one of the breaks that you don't get when you're playing on the road. In Lewis Stadium, there's no doubt in my mind that's 3 points for the Cowboys. But Peyton Manning comes out, and really impressive drive here by the Volunteers.
Well, you know, they started going downfield. What they did was they hit a key 3rd down situation. But what's impressive is Norman Williams playing nose tackle and inside backers Josh and Alan Mubody and 3 or 4 guys getting off tackles and make blocks. We had to really didn't want to give up those points. Here you see our receivers, defensive back breaking on the ball. We have to see the ball thrown. This is a nice screen, but you see Norman, an excellent lineman, spelling this whole thing out, and then forcing him into a 3rd down situation. This here is just being aware of the defense call. One thing that we could not let happen was to let this guy come inside, which really kept their drive alive. And now we're flushing him, and we're doing a good job of making Peyton Manning pull the ball down. And but within this drive, we did some things back there in the secondary that really hurt us. But again, the secondary kept them inside and in front. They throw a post corner on us, a play that we've practiced all week, and our defensive backs jumped up on the front guy, which that should not have happened. That can happen to a good defense.
Well, after the touchdown drive by Tennessee, Oklahoma State takes over on their own 16 and trying to put some points on the board.
Well, anytime your opponent scores and when you're away from your home, you got to answer with some points on the board, and that's what we're trying to do. And we come out and run the option, and David does a nice job. Tony does a nice job pitching it. We get an offsides call here, so this is technically a free play, which we really try to complete, but we don't. But we go back to 2nd and 5 here, and again, now this is the one thing that we wanted to try to do just before the end of the half is get some points, not give them some points. And again, this is a key throw where we allow them to get up in the seam, and this is a great kick by their kicker. I think this ball went right underneath our jumper.
Well, with 3:20 left before halftime, it was a 7-0 football game. And then in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the contest, Tennessee winds up putting 10 points on the board to make it a 17-0 halftime deficit. We'll be back to take a look at the second half highlights right after this break. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, the Pokes were down at halftime, but they came out in the second half and continued to give great effort. And we noticed a change of quarterback to start second half.
Yeah, I really felt that we needed a change and wanted to try to get something started. And so I went with Craig Strickland to see if we can get our passing game going because of some of the problems that we were having the first half. So I made that decision at halftime, and I thought Craig came in and made some real good reads, and here he should throw it and not try to scramble, but we got to be a lot more productive at that position.
Well, he was 2 for 2 with 17 yards passing, but we see he's banged up again. This is the 3rd straight game.
He's he's still coming off that same injury, and at that point I didn't really felt that he was capable after the knee injury. Didn't want to get him hurt, but see, he does a nice job of completing a pass to Pfeiffer, and I think Pfeiffer later on in the ball game has a separated shoulder going for a fumble here. But we get back on the ground. We give the ball to David here, and he's running hard. He continues to pick it up. We had to come back with
Thompson
Tony
once again here.
Tony as a quarterback, and Thompson is really running hard.
Well, 27 carries for 104 yards. As we alluded to earlier in the show, these were hard-fought yards. There weren't any 30 or 40-yard breakaways. It was nothing but 3, 4, 5, 7 yards in a cloud of dust. The defense played great, though.
Well, I tell you, for the most part, and again, the defense came back out in the second half and really wanted to take the momentum away. And they did. They still made some mistakes, but you see a lot of young enthusiasm from Josh and the defensive linemen showing up front. And that's what has to happen. For us to have any kind of success, our defense has got to show. You see guys crawling on the ground, and that's the way you play good defense. All kind of orange jerseys around the ball.
Well, another example right there, some great swarm tackling, everybody running to the football.
Well, and again, now you see Tennessee puts in their backup quarterback, but at the same time, our kids are still playing hard. Because if you don't play hard, they're going to go down and score on you. And the thing that we were doing is playing with a lot of pride. We wanted to play hard. We didn't want to quit. And I didn't think those kids did that. I thought they did a nice job. You see RW going to show up here off of a corner stunt here and do a nice job of getting a sack off their backup quarterback.
And not only did RW have a good game in the secondary, he was also a real impact player with the kickoff returns. Here, a 38-yarder.
I tell you, he did a nice job. We asked him to be aggressive on the kickoff returns, and he's a very gifted and talented young man. He knows how to make you miss and good change of direction. And so this is great field position for us. He gets the ball up to the 35-yard line. Again, I question whether that should not have been a rough in the penalty call, but I guess I'm not the official. But you can see him again. He makes the right cuts here. And he gets outside of their contain and he gets positive yardage.
Well, good speed shown there, and he averages actually eluded one tackler, but good blocking on that kickoff return that time. This time it's more of a power return. It looks like a middle wedge, and he takes it straight up the pipe.
Middle wedge, we get, he averaged about 25.5 yards on the return here. And again, you got to be fearless back there. You got to stick this thing here, and that's exactly what he's doing. Our goal is to get that ball past the 30, and for the 2 out of 3 that he did that, he got the ball past the 30.
Well, lots of people wonder just how great it is to be able to travel to all those places. Well, after this break, Tom Dorado, along with photographer Wade Pearson, will take you through life on a road trip. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, as a football player, you get to travel to an awful lot of different cities, but they're nothing but business trips. Airports, hotels, and stadiums are about all you get to see. In this feature, Tom Dorado will give us a guided tour through a Cowboy football game day.
Dorado, that'll be room 432.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you ever wondered what the Cowboys do on a game day? Well, the coaches and the players are on a pretty tight schedule. It really doesn't make any difference whether the game is played in the afternoon or at night, at home or away. The itinerary is generally the same. On this particular weekend, Oklahoma State was playing on the road, opening a stretch of 4 weeks between Lewis Field appearances. Due to an early kickoff, the day began with a 7 a.m. wake-up call. OSU's fine athletic training staff was already on duty, waiting for that first wave of players to arrive for taping.
Got some stretch stuff. Maybe. Walk around like bruising. So I'm gonna walk out.
I was to hurry toward the eternal life.
Church services are held each game day. Players and coaches alike are encouraged to attend. This day, a Catholic Mass was held first in one of the hotel's many meeting rooms. Following Mass, a chapel service was available to those who wanted to attend.
I wish them and I wish you the best. I want to talk to you about right choices this morning.
The pregame meal usually takes place 4 hours before kickoff. Players visit, relax, and even catch up on some reading before returning to meetings. The offense and defense then part ways. One final brief get-together before heading back to the room for a last time. It's obvious the young men are focused on what they must do in just a matter of hours. They are quiet as they board the buses that will take them to the stadium. Little, if anything, is said as the mile markers flash by. Concentration and a final few minutes of rest are now in order. The buses deliver players to the locker room's front door. Nothing left now but to dress, stretch, and play. It's only been 4 hours or so since that wake-up call, but it seems like more. The routine is a familiar one that will be repeated again in a week.
Thank you, Tom. Well, each and every week, Coach Simmons and his staff gets a chance to break down the game film and come up with what they call the Cowboy Coach's Honor Roll. And, Coach, why don't you take it from here?
Well, Paul, this week they had some kids that really played well. Our offensive back of the week was David Thompson with that 27 attempts, 104 yards. And then we really felt Josh Henson really had an excellent week of practice, and he went and played well in the ball game. On defense, we really felt R.W. Quarters with 7 tackles, a sack, and did an excellent job on the kickoff returns, deserved the defensive back award. And then Norman Williams, he's been playing good for the last couple of weeks, but I think he finished with 9 tackles, 5 tackles, and 4 assists. Our special teams goes to Greg Ivey. I thought that he really kicked the ball well down the field, and he was even involved in a lot of tackles. Again, our rookie this week is Raynell Levine. He did a nice job of really preparing our defense to play in this ball game, as well as Kerry Lanier did a nice job of preparing our offense to play in our ball game this year. He's our scout team player.
Well, Coach, I know with some of the injuries, you're going to enjoy having this open day to get an extra week to prepare for homecoming 2 weeks from now against the Kansas State Wildcats. And, folks, we do appreciate you joining us again this week for the Bob Simmons Show and like to invite you to come back again in 2 weeks. Next week, there will be no show, but be back with us in 2 weeks as we take a look at the homecoming highlights, OSU versus the Wildcats from Kansas State. Good night, everybody.